yesterday I took a yoga class and it was a really weird experience. Like, there was a point where I literally laid there and thought, should I be offended? I just didn't know how to feel. And okay, so let me set the scene. I am not a yoga person. I'm actually pretty new to it. Um, I only really started because I injured my shoulder and I can't weightlift anymore. And so yoga has now become my new form of exercise. And because I'm new to it, I've been trying out a bunch of different instructors and styles and studios. So, all in all, pretty open minded to learn and try it all. But yesterday was a particularly odd experience because when the instructor walked in, she brought with her a harmonium. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically like this big, heavy box like instrument that has keys at the top, kind of like a keyboard, and a pump on the outer side. So you can clip it and pump from the left side or right side, but the pump essentially determines the intensity of the sound that comes out when you press the keys. If I had to pick a similar instrument, it would be the accordion, which is, this pump with this tiny keyboard on one side, and you pump while playing standing up. But the harmonium is quite bigger, heavier, and you play while sitting down. I don't even know if you can lift the thing with one hand, but it's a very sacred instrument. It's used a lot in Indian classical music and religious hymns. And I actually grew up playing it for about a decade. It's it's the only instrument I know how to play, and I've played competitively. And anyways, there's a lot of history there. And so the instructor walks in with the harmonium, and she begins a class with a guided meditation. So everyone's sitting on their mats with their eyes closed. And she plays her harmonium and guides us through just, resetting our feelings and resetting our expectations for the rest of the class. And then we go into this whole yoga flow. And so that part lasts about an hour, and at the end of it, we finish off with a period of silence where everybody lays down on their back on the mats with their eyes closed again. And that moment of silence and stillness at the end of a yoga practice is meant to promote a state of relaxation. But I really couldn't relax during this because this is when the instructor started playing the harmonium again and singing in Sanskrit. And then she goes, "Sing along with me." And the entire class is singing in Sanskrit while she's playing the harmonium. And it was such an uncomfortable experience for me. And I just couldn't figure out why. And even right now, as I'm retelling this story, it's still hard for me to describe why it was so uncomfortable. Because it's not that she wasn't because it's not that she was bad at singing or bad at playing. In fact, I'm sure she was really well trained for it. I think the the discomfort was weird. It was so much weirder than saying namaste at the end of the yoga class, which seems to be a standard across all studios and all instructors that I've been to. So it's not about gatekeeping the culture. Because I truly believe culture is transient and it's meant to be shared. And when I think about my discomfort logically, did anything happen that was wrong? No. Was anything disrespectful? No. I think it's more about when I think of her singing and playing the harmonium, I think internally I know that was something I was so embarrassed of, so ashamed of. And to see somebody else be so fascinated by that part of my culture, maybe even despite being from such a different one, and then go to India and get trained by it and then come back and share it with all these other people on a weekly basis and make it part of their identity felt weird to me, because I think I spent a long time just removing it from mine. I think it was seeing somebody else appreciate and cherish my culture more than I did that was the actual uncomfortable part. Maybe there's a misconnection there, or maybe it's something I've dismissed. And it makes me think how easy it could be for me to just label it as, cultural appropriation. But it still wouldn't change the fact that it's simply a dissatisfaction of my identity relating to my culture. So just a thought.